So now let's look at another approach. The Quran for busy people approach is different. What we do is, number one, we develop the Quran ritual, the daily ritual, and we put all of our energy into that first, because with that, now I can give you ways that you can achieve all of those goals without it taking whatever, 50, 30 years, or whatever it is. And what we do is, instead of studying one page at a time with 20 different methods of Quran study, we take one study method at a time and keep going with that study method and dedicate yourself completely to that study method during your daily study time, right? So you pick one method at a time and you dedicate yourself to it wholeheartedly until you've completed it, until you've completed that method. Now, in order to complete that method, you've got to reach a goal which is a level where you're competent at doing that method of study, right? In other words, you get good enough at that study method. You're not going to become a master. You're not going to become a mufassir. You're not going to, you might listen to a tafsir, but you're not going to become a master of tafsir. You might learn the basic tajweed rules, but you're not going to have an ijazah to teach tajweed, right? That's the idea. You want to get good enough where you can continue your studies on your own and you've got a level of competence. Now, to reach a level of excellence at something, like to be a world class at something, we talked about this in a previous session, but that to reach a level of excellence at something takes 10,000 hours, right? The 10,000 hour rule by Malcolm Gladwell in the book Outliers. The Beatles performed in public stages over and over again for many, many years. And so they got like 10,000 hours of practice and then they became super famous, right? He used other musicians and which is interesting to use the metaphor of mastering music, because in some ways the Quran skills are kind of, it uses the same kind of brain activity to repeat something over and over, to master it. There are rules of playing the violin, and there are rules of reading music, and there are rules of reading the Quran and reciting it properly. So it's an interesting metaphor to use. But the point is, it takes 10,000 hours to reach absolute mastery. But it doesn't take 10,000 hours to become competent at any one of the skills. On average, it takes about 20 hours to become competent at any one of those skills. Within roughly a year, you can achieve every main Quran goal to a level of competence in under 30 minutes a day. Again, with the exception of memorization, because obviously if you memorize the Quran for 30 minutes a day, you will get pretty far, you know, probably a few juz, but you probably in 30 minutes a day won't memorize the whole Quran in 1 year. You can memorize the Quran in a year, but it takes a lot more than 30 minutes. But this is Quran for busy people. So we say, okay, you're a busy professional, you've got your own life, you've got your own things and ways in which you're contributing to the world. This is for your own personal growth and own personal development. We got 30 minutes a day here. I want you to be hifz ready. So ready to really do hifz, to really memorize the Quran in under a year, right? And what do we mean by being ready to memorize the Quran? For me, memorizing the Quran is step 10 of the 10 steps. So before that, I want you to reach a competence level in all the other Quran goals. The aim of the Quran for busy people approach is to make you an outstanding student of the Quran with much more respect for scholars and much more understanding of where they're coming from when that you meet people who have dedicated their lives to different fields of Quranic knowledge, right? And really to get yourself to a point where you know what the different fields of study are, so that you're like, oh, well, that person's an expert in that area. That doesn't mean I should ask them about this area, right? So if somebody is, with credit to them, Bayna do a pretty good job of making this clear. I've heard the scholars of Bayna say this a few times, like, hey, we're just going to teach you the Quran as we understand it, based on the studies we've done in the Quran. Don't ask us about fiqh. Don't ask us about Islamic law. I'm not going to answer any questions about law. And I'm the same, right? Don't even bother asking me questions about law. In fact, if you come to me and ask me a question, I'm a coach. So I'm probably just going to ask you a question back to get you to have an insightful realization about the area you're struggling with. But the point is, I want you to have an appreciation for the different areas of Quranic knowledge, not so that you become an expert in them, but so that you know that you're not an expert and you can continue studying the Quran for your own personal insight and benefit and transformation. And the idea as well of this approach is that we want you to personally love the time you spend with the Quran every day, so that the momentum builds and your knowledge gradually over time builds. But, you know, it's, the ultimate aim is to know the Quran, learn the Quran, so that you know the Quran, so that you start to really love the Quran, so that you can start to live the Quran. If you don't love the Quran, you're not going to want to learn it and you're not going to want to live it. And again, I'm going to say it again. We want you to personally benefit and be transformed by your Quran reading each day, especially after you've mastered some of the essential Quran skills, right? So these essential Quran skills that we're talking about, especially after you've mastered the essential Quran skills. So what I mean by that is, it's a lot easier. You can benefit from the Quran just by reading an English translation, and you can have insight, especially if you've done part 3 of the Quran for Busy People course, and you know about the inside out and how psychology works and the Quranic approach to insightful transformation. So you can definitely do that. But when you learn several of the other Quran skills, like you actually do get really competent at Arabic, and you actually can recite the Quran with the beauty with which it was revealed, right? When you get those skills under your belt, well, now you're going to be reciting the Quran beautifully from memory, understanding what it's saying, and you'll have the inside-out psychology, so you're being transformed by it as you recite, inshallah. That's the aim here. The benefits of this approach are multiple. Firstly, it's a lot more motivating, it's a lot more uplifting, and it's a lot more inspiring, and it actually works, right? Doing it this way as opposed to spending a whole month and you're like, okay, I spent a whole month studying and I got through 1 page, right? And also there's no course that's designed that way. So even if you wanted to do it, you'd be doing largely self-study and So this approach is it actually works, and it's a lot more motivating because after a couple of months, you're like, wow, I just read the whole Quran in English and I actually got through it all. And then after another couple of months, you're like, wow, I'm pretty good at reading the Arabic script now. And after another couple of months, you're like, okay, now I know everything I need to know about tajweed in order to move on. And after another couple of months, you're like, wow, Arabic is easier than I thought. And I know within a couple of months, you can know all of the words, 80% of the words using. So that's the idea. It clears us of overwhelm, and it clears us of the victim mentality of like, oh, it's so hard. Why did Allah reveal a book and then make it so hard to say? Allah didn't make the Quran hard. We're making it hard with our own messed up beliefs about it, right? The victim mentality we want to free ourselves from. The other thing is we're in this, let me say a couple more things about the victim mentality. A lot of it comes from the outside in psychology, the illusion that we are the victim of circumstances and that our feelings of overwhelm and everything come from the situation we're put in, from the position that Allah put us in. And when you start to discover the inside-out psychology, that we are, no matter what situation you're in, your felt experience of life comes from your mindset and your state of mind and the way that you're thinking. When you start to really understand this, you get cleared of the victim mentality anyway. But in terms of just strategic, how we're approaching the study of the Quran here, the Quran for Busy People approach is just a lot more effective. And the other thing here is we're in it for the long game, right? A lot of times when people take Arabic courses, they just want to learn all of Arabic, just teach me Arabic really quickly, like the 6-week Arabic course, right? I want to learn all of Arabic grammar in 3 weeks. It's a short-term mentality. What we want to do is know from the outset, like, hey, I'm in this for the long game. Every day, inshallah, until the day I die, I'm going to study the Quran in whatever way is most optimal for me to study it, based on what we know about Quran study, right? Based on my own understanding, my own knowledge at this point, based on how good I am at the different Quran skills. Every day for the rest of my life, for about at least half an hour, I'm going to be studying the Quran in the optimal way. When you're in it for the long game, remember, people dramatically overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year and dramatically underestimate what they can achieve in 10. So even if you're starting at scratch right now, 10 years from now, you could have memorized the Quran with understanding, with tajweed, with fluency, and all of the other skills. Inshallah. There's another thing. There's another cool concept here which we're using, which comes from physical fitness, which is called periodization. People who are really serious about the gym, and I mean like really serious about it, not just those who go to the gym, but those who are like fitness trainers and that kind of thing. There's this great concept called periodization, which is that you don't use the same routine every day. If you use the same routine every day, the theory is your body gets used to it after a while and it stops responding in the best way. So what periodization is you change up your method of training every month or two towards different specific goals. So maybe for a couple of months, your aim is just to do as much heavy lifting as possible. So 2 or 3 reps, but with the heaviest weight as you possibly can. And you do that for whatever, a few weeks. And then in the next part of the course, and by the way, I'm not a fitness trainer. I'm not suggesting you do any of these things. I'm just, using it as a metaphor. And then for the next month or two, you go and you do circuit training. So you get yourself more ripped and you get your muscles more ripped by doing circuit training very frequently for a few weeks. And then for the next couple of weeks, so the idea is, even if the aim is for, this is especially true of athletes, and I know it's true of mixed martial artists, you use periodization so that there's different types of training you do at different points in the year so that you peak during the time of the battle or conflict or athletic performance, right? Now, we want to use a similar mindset when it comes to the Quran, even though the performance is, well, inshallah, the ultimate performance is we're in our grave and the angel says, recite and ascend, and we lie there and we start reciting. And the angels enjoy it so much that they start reciting with us. And we ascend all the way to the highest level of Jannah because we know the whole Quran and we understand the whole Quran and we love the Quran every day of our lives and we lived it because it transformed us, because we understood how our mind works and we put some focus and attention into being transformed by it. That's the ultimate performance. Now, how are we going to use periodization to get us to the point where we step up? Or another let's say performance for the Hafid, it's Ramadan. All right, you memorize the Quran, you understand it. Now stand at the front and recite it for all of us, 1 juz a day for the whole month. That's if you speak to any Hafid, they're like, oh yeah, that's game time. That's the time that we need to see what we've got. And here's the other thing. This has worked for hundreds of students who have achieved their Quran goals faster than they've imagined by using this approach. If you enjoyed this video and want the full Quran for Busy People system to transform your connection with the Quran in as little as 11 minutes a day, go to quranforbusypeople.com and check out the free web class.